Yeshua gradually worked his way westward from the lake, back to his hometown of Nazareth. His real followers traveled with him. On the Sabbath, he went to the synagogue in Nazareth to teach. Many of his old friends and neighbors were there, and they were surprised at the great wisdom in what he said, on top of what they had already heard about his miracles. But they were not surprised in a good way.
Is this really Mary and Joseph's son?
His brothers James, Joseph Jr., Jude, and Simon?
They don't talk or act like this, and his sisters are all quite normal.
So who does he think he is?
It is like this for any prophet. Strangers gladly listen to the message, but the prophet's family, his neighbors, and his friends cannot hear the message because all they see is the messenger, and they're not impressed.
Apart from healing a few sick people there, Yeshua could not do any impressive miracles while in Nazareth. He was deeply disturbed by their refusal to believe what he had been sent to tell them. Consequently, Yeshua branched out into other, more remote villages. He divided his 12 most faithful followers into pairs and sent them off on their own to see how they would go. He gave them power to drive out unclean spirits, and he gave them strict instructions on how to conduct themselves as well.
Don't take anything for your journey apart from a walking stick. No cash or other form of money, no food, and only one pair of shoes and one coat apiece. When you enter a village, find the most worthy person to stay with, and do not switch from their house to some other house. If things turn sour between you and your host, just leave. Shake the dust off your shoes on leaving the town as a demonstration against them. I'm telling you that Yahweh will go easier on Sodom and Gomorrah on Judgment Day than he will on any town that rejects you.
So, they went out and preached that the people needed to change. They freed people from bad spirits. They treated sicknesses with oil. And overall, they healed a lot of people. The Hebrew king, Herod, heard about Yeshua. By this time, there was talk about him everywhere.
It must be John, the baptizer. Who else could do such things? He's come back to haunt me.
No, it's Elijah, come to prepare us for the Messiah.
Maybe he's just a new prophet, a very special one.
I still say it's John, whose head I cut off. He has come back from the dead.
You see, John had earlier criticized Herod for stealing his brother Philip's wife, Herodias, from him, and Herodias hated John for it. It was only as a favor to Herodias that Herod had arrested John in the first place. Herodias wanted Herod to kill John, but Herod had refused. He knew that John was a holy man, and he himself often spent time with John at the prison, listening to the things that John had to say. Herod had too much respect for John to kill him. But on his birthday, Herod threw a big party for all the most influential people in Galilee, and Herodias' daughter danced for the guests. Herod and the guests were so impressed by her that he offered publicly to do anything she asked, even up to giving her half of his kingdom as a gift. She consulted with her mother.
Mom, what should I ask for?
Ask him for the head of John the Baptist.
She ran straight into the hall where Herod was sitting and made her announcement.
I want you to give me the head of John the Baptist on a platter.
Herod was crushed. Too late, he realized his mistake in making such a promise. But because he did not want to be seen as having broken his promise, he gave in to her demand.
Send the executioner to cut off John's head and bring it to me.
The executioner went to the prison and did as he had been told. He brought the head on a platter and gave it to the girl, who gave it to her mother. When John's followers heard about this, they came for the rest of his body and laid it in a tomb. But back to the disciples whom Yeshua had sent out on their own. They gathered together on their return to share stories about what they had done and about what they had been teaching while on their journeys.
There are too many people coming and going here. It's a struggle just to get time to eat. Come with me to a place where we can be alone and spend the day resting.
They tried to sneak off in a boat to a deserted beach, but people saw them and ran on foot around the lake, gathering others along the way. Consequently, a crowd was already waiting for Yeshua when the boat dropped anchor. Yeshua, rather than being angry with the people, had pity on them, because he saw them as confused sheep with no one to lead them. So he dropped his earlier plans for rest and privacy, and taught them for most of the day. That afternoon,
"It's getting late, and there ain't no shops here. They haven't ate all day. Send them away so they can go to a village and buy some before the stores close."
Why don't you feed them?
"What? A year's wages won't be but just enough to buy a little for all of them."
Well, how much do you have? Go and see.
when they returned,
"There ain't but 5 loaves of bread. That's it. Oh, and 2 fish."
Okay, get them to sit on the grass in groups of 50 to 100 each.
the disciples did as they were told. And then Yeshua took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, looked up to heaven, then blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to his disciples to be given to the people. He divided the 2 fish between everyone as well. And before the day was through, they had all eaten their fill. On top of that, 12 baskets were filled with the leftovers. In all, there were about 5,000 people who were fed that day. After instructing his disciples to get into a boat and go across the lake to Bethsaida, Yeshua quickly sent the crowd away. When everyone was gone, he finally had time to be alone, so he climbed up into the rocks to pray. That night, the ship was out in the lake, and Yeshua was alone on the land. He could see them struggling to row the boat with the wind against them. At about 3 a.m., Yeshua came strolling by on top of the water, as though he was going to walk right past them. When they saw it, they thought it must be a ghost, and they all cried out in fear. But Yeshua called out casually to them,
"There's nothing to be afraid of. It's me. Aren't you happy to see me?"
He climbed into the boat, and the wind stopped. Words cannot describe how impressed they were by what had happened. But it was really no more miraculous than the feeding of the 5,000, yet they had already forgotten about that miracle. This time they landed at Gennesaret, and the public there recognized Yeshua as soon as he left the ship. So once again, there were people being carried in beds to wherever he was likely to be. They all wanted to be healed. In the cities and villages, and even on country roads, sick people would be placed on the ground, waiting for him to arrive and heal them. And as many as he touched, he healed.